Hello and welcome to Why We Endure, the show where ordinary people do extraordinary things and I ask them the only question that matters, which is why. I'm your host, Chester Allen, and today with me I'm joined by Briar Whaitiri. Welcome, Briar. How are you?
I'm great, and you did well. You pronounced my last name.
Yeah, I did well with the last name.
Yeah. You got there. Yeah, it
Thank
was good.
goodness. Yeah, I was actually like sweating, like perspiring.
Yeah, I would have thought that you've been practicing for quite a while just to try and get that right, but you just got it first go.
Yes. Really? Oh, well, I'll take that. Let's go. Let's go. So, Briar, for people that don't know you like I do, who are you and what do you do? What does a normal week look like for you? And yeah, just get into that a little bit for me.
Big question, I feel. Who are you? But if you just give me a week, then pretty much I work as what am I? An operations manager for a food manufacturing company. It's actually my family business, but yeah, general operations manager for a food manufacturing company. I run the Auckland branch of our family business. So we supply like sandwiches, wraps, rolls, sushi, all that sort of stuff nationally across New Zealand to service stations, hospitals, flights, all that sort of thing. So I run the Auckland branch, and then my mum runs the Christchurch branch, which supplies the South Island. And
Nice.
that's what I do for work. I've always kind of worked in operations management and HR and that sort of those sort of jobs, whether overseas or in New Zealand. And then what else? Who am I? I am a bit of a try
Athlete.
anything. Yeah. Oh, okay. So I actually did I had someone say to me, like, oh, calling me an athlete, right? When I was training for the coast to coast. And I guess so, right? But I just
100%.
I never really thought of myself like that. I just thought, well, I'm just going to try this. I'm going to do this. I'm just doing it. I never really thought of myself as being like an athlete, but maybe like a wannabe, or a little bit of an imposter, but doing it anyway. So yeah, I mean, I just have been trying lots of different sports. Like even in the last few years, I've been playing golf. I learned how to play golf. I mean, obviously, we'll get into it, but the coast to coast stuff, so kayaking and running and biking, and what else? I taught myself how to swim last year. Just like
Last year you learned how to swim. I'm sorry, and then for those that don't know, Half Ironman right here as well. So and you learned how to swim just a year before that. How?
I honestly, I don't know, because it was really, really difficult. It was really hard because when I was younger, I used to do like athletics in school and I just loved it. Like I loved sports, but I was so bad at swimming. Like I was terrible. I was the last out of the pool. But this was when I was really little. I was always the last out of the pool, but I always managed to come first or second and in like the triathlons and things like that. But last out of the pool by like a whole length, and you only had to do 2 lengths. So I was so bad. And then yeah, literally I was like doggy paddling the whole way. But I was really good on the bike and I was pretty quick. So that's how I made up for it. But yeah, I figured if I was going to do like a half Ironman or an Ironman, I needed to learn how to swim. And when I was training for my coast to coast, I thought, oh, well, if I just add swimming in there, then by the time I've like trained up for the coast to coast, I'll be able to do an Ironman like easily, surely, right?
Yeah, that makes
And then
perfect
I
sense.
yeah. And then I went to the pools and I just swam one length, 25 meters, and I was done. I was like, this is so hard. I can't breathe. I think I was like sinking, like like just couldn't get it. But
Sounds like it was survival more than swimming, you know?
yeah, it was. It really was. But then my mum, she was was she a swimmer? Yeah. Well, she tells me she was a swimmer. She used to swim when she was pregnant with me. And she told me, she's like, you just need to focus on your breathing, Briar. Like once you get your breathing, like everything will make sense. And so next time I went, because I said to her, well, I can't breathe because I'll sink. Like I need to go fast, because if I don't go fast, like I'm just going to sink. Like, I don't float. I'm not a floaty person. She thinks that everybody floats, and I was like, I don't float. I just drop. So, but anyway, I do actually float. I think it was just a bit of panic. And yeah, once I slowed things down and I just tried to focus on breathing, I started with breaststroke. So I just thought, I'm going to do breaststroke. I'm going to get the rhythm of my breathing, and I'll just do that for a while. So I did that for maybe 15 minutes at the beginning of my swim. And once I started to get this rhythm and my body was warmed up, then I thought, okay, now I'll do a length of freestyle. And so doing the freestyle, and it just developed from there. And it didn't actually take long, which after maybe four times practicing, I was able to swim, I think 2 kilometres.
What? Said no one ever. Yeah, so I basically couldn't swim a length. I've done 4 sessions and now I can swim 2K. If anyone else out there is the same as that, you should take up swimming and be a full-time swimmer, because you're obviously born to be in the water.
No,
ridiculous.
No. I tell you what, I'm not a natural fish. I was not. But I think there's just something about breathing, right? I think it's just the breathing. Like, I wasn't swimming fast by any means when I did the 2K or, whatever. But I was able to do it. I was able to sustain it, just focusing on my breathing, forget about the technique and all that sort of stuff. I was just like, okay. And
it's quite calming, right? You're just sort of gliding through, and then you get into that rhythm, and then you don't even really start to think about the lengths or why you're doing it, or if you're tired. You're just like, quite enjoying this, actually. Are you tumble turning at the end, or are you pushing off? What's the...
I did actually, but only last year.
Tumble turns, yeah?
Yeah, so in the...
Nice.
I only did that last year. So when I first was learning how to swim, it was in August last year, and I did that for about a month. Maybe went to the pool 8 times, and then I dropped it because I was like, I can't do swimming, biking, running, kayaking. I can't do it all. So I can't fit it all in. Well, I probably could have, but I didn't want to. And so then after my coast to coast race this year, when I at Ironman, I was meeting all these people, and I was like, why the hell am I not doing this? I just did coast to coast a month ago. Why am I not at least doing a half? If I only had to just keep swimming, I would be here. And so I signed up that week. I was like, I'm going to go to Australia and I'm going to do a half Ironman.
You were like that at the Topor Ironman, sorry to interrupt, but you had that realization. You were like, this is such a crazy event, because that's actually where we met, right? We were working there. And you were working there, I was competing, and then so you got the bug from Topor, did you?
Oh, absolutely. When I was I really got the bug, just being around everybody in the atmosphere. And I think it was just such a positive environment, people, and the energy of people, and I was just like, I love this. This is everything. I just want to be amongst it. I want to be a part of it. And I was a part of it because I was volunteering for the bike company that fixes my bike. And I got to be out on the course and take photos of people biking and help them with their bikes and all that sort of stuff. And I was just like, yeah, you. And then I was like, oh my God, why am I not doing this? I've got to do this. So I just, that 100%. Week I signed up, and I was like, I'm just going to go do one in May. And it's so funny because I actually, how did I do it? I injured my wrist. I injured my wrist shortly after I'd signed up. And so I only had 7 weeks from Ironman Taupo to Ironman Melbourne. No, not Melbourne, Sydney. Where was I? Sydney.
Sydney, yeah.
And you know better than me. And I'd injured my wrist, I think, about halfway through, and I had 5 weeks left to train, but I got this really bad wrist injury, and I hadn't done any training for the couple of weeks before that, and I hadn't really done anything since my coast to coast, so I was not good. And I knew that the main thing that I needed to practice was swimming, because I'd only done it in August. I knew I got a little bit of rhythm to it, but now I couldn't swim because of my wrist. So I tried to pull out and ask them hey, can you defer me to the next year? No, it's too late. not
Really?
happening.
They said no? That's so mean.
Yeah, yeah. I think it was just because it was so close to it, and then I would have, I would have paid for, I don't know, just they would have paid for
You
things.
kind of had to do it. Yeah, yeah, exactly. It was
Yeah.
what? So this was so you tried to pull out what 2 weeks before? Is that
It
right?
was like
Or
4 weeks. It was 4 weeks
4 weeks?
before when I
Okay.
realized my wrist was still so bad, and I was going to this physio. I was getting like even like red light therapy. I was like doing all this stuff, and I was in a brace, and
Oh,
I
you're
still
fully in a brace. What did you do to the
I
wrist,
can't
and how
remember
did
what
you
I
do
did.
that? You come on.
It's like,
Are you
oh
quite
no,
accident
no.
prone,
I'll tell
like
you.
as
I
a person,
remember.
or
It is so stupid. It's the most
okay? Let's have a go.
embarrassing way to injure my wrist. It is so embarrassing. So, like, it's so dumb. So, have you ever like tried to click your wrist?
Yeah,
Or like you get that feeling like you just like you really need to click your wrist. You've got like a, I don't know, like a bubble in there or something.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
So
yeah.
I had this feeling in my wrist, and I was like, oh god, I really need to click my wrist. I'm a very clicky person. Like I click my neck and everything, and it's like an itch that you like need to scratch, and you just can't scratch it, right? Well, I had that with
Yeah,
my
100%.
it's the worst. And I had that with my wrist, and I had this, yeah, I was like, I actually, like, the physio thought that I had fractured my wrist. They sent me for an MRI. because,
You had
because,
an
and I
itch
had,
so bad that you almost broke your wrist.
no, no, I really did. And I really did. I even had to lie to the physio about how I hurt it because I was like, this is so embarrassing. I had to pretend because I couldn't move it and I couldn't like extend my fingers. And because I'd tried to click it so hard, like pushed it. I was like, I know this hurts, but if I just get past the point of it hurting and it clicks, it will release and it will stop hurting. Well, that never happened. It just, I just absolutely ruined the ligaments in my wrist.
Oh no, did you actually?
No, yeah, I
What have
really,
you so you actually buggered the ligaments in your wrist.
I
So the lesson
messed it
from
up.
this is don't go so hard on the old wrist. Maybe just be a bit more generous. You must have really, really pushed it.
No means
Okay.
no, okay? Like if it's not, no, honestly. So yeah. Anyway, I couldn't practice my swimming, and I couldn't practice my swimming. I got to about I think it was like 2 weeks before or 10 days before my race, and I was a bit better. My wrist was a bit better. I was like, I'm gonna go for a swim now, and so I had like 10 days before my race to practice swimming. And I think I swam maybe 4 times in that like 10 days. But I got it. I did it, and I only got I got kicked in the face during
Yeah.
the swim, but I was thinking I was going to be like 50 minutes, 60 minutes. I don't know, like just something outrageous. Sorry, that's not outrageous. That's perfectly acceptable, guys. Um,
I was going to say that's how long it took me.
no, it's absolutely acceptable. Finishing is finishing, okay?
So,
But
so for those that are listening though, so we've spoken about the coast to coast and an Ironman as well. Can you go into a little bit more detail for both of those? Maybe start with the Ironman and then we'll go on to the coast to coast. But
yes,
what essentially is a 70.3 half Ironman? What is
what
that?
is like technically?
Yeah, no,
What?
it's like just what does that event mean? Like, I know it's a triathlon, but what's it a triathlon
Oh,
for? Because you can have different events and yeah, just go into that just for 2 seconds, and then we'll go into the coast to coast.
wait. I need to get this question clear. Like a 1.9 kilometer swim.
Yeah,
uh,
exactly
oh,
that,
okay.
exactly that.
Okay. Because I was like, is this the why I was doing it, or is this the okay? No. So half Ironman is 1.9 kilometer swim, 90 kilometer bike, and then a 21 kilometer. Oh, sorry, not half Ironman, half marathon. So 21 point, what is it, 2 kilometer run. Yeah,
22,
that is
21.1,
21.1
or is it
kilometer run.
21.2? I can't remember.
Depends if you
You're
take
probably
extra
right.
corners. I don't know. Could be a bit longer. Like in
And
my case,
transition as well.
for my swim, because I did a bit of I did a few diagonals, so it was
But
a
yeah,
little bit
same.
longer than 1.9 kilometers. Yeah, so that's the half Ironman.
That's so, and so for those listening as well, sorry, excuse me, that don't know, that just sounds like a bunch of numbers, right? So how long did it take you, and how long does it normally take, people to finish an event like that?
Ooh, how long does it normally take people? Um, that that is a very wide range because it really depends. I think the pros
Let's go with
do
the
it
amateur athletes.
amateur. Oh God. Actually, I don't know because I only really was focusing on me, right? No, no. But the pros, what do they do it in? They do it in like under. Is it like
Just like
3,
5 hours or 3 or
3.5?
4 or something like that. It's
Something
ridiculous. It's
ridiculous.
honestly ridiculous. But they
Crazy,
they are
but,
just built differently.
yeah, but no, I actually, so me, very amateur. I thought I was going to take 7. I was actually concerned that I wasn't going to finish because I hadn't even been running. Like my one of my friends, she's told me, Briar, you really shouldn't tell people this. Like it just, don't tell people this. People train for so many months and so long, just, but I'm a little bit silly because I just have this like thing in my mind where I'm like, I can do it. Like, I know my body might not be in the best position to be able to do this race, and I'm definitely undertrained, and and I might come away with a little bit of a niggle or an injury, possibly from pushing myself a bit too far. But I just know that I can do it. Like I just know in my mind, like I just have to swim. Not just, but I just have to finish the swim. I just have to keep biking. I just have to run, and I can do that slowly. I don't have to be going a million miles an hour. I just have to get through each stage, and I can do that. So I know I can do it. I can do it slowly, or I could do it fast if I was training really well. So anyway, I didn't expect to finish. I thought if I was going to finish, it was going to be around like 7 hours. And I finished my swim in 45 minutes, which I was really, really happy about because that was like so good for me because I'm not a swimmer. And then I did the bike. I averaged 31 kilometers an hour for the whole 90 kilometers. I was like, I mean, it's relative.
Turbo.
I don't know what, I think your speed is like 40. I don't know.
No, definitely not. I think it was the same as you.
I won't tell you that it was mostly flat. But
Okay.
No. There was elevation. Shush. But I was averaging 31 kilometers an hour for every single 10 minutes. There was no kilometer where I was dropping, where I was just like on this high. It was like a runner's high, but a biker's high.
Engine.
And I knew I was going to go under 3 hours for my bike. And so I was like working out in my head, okay, well, I don't know how much time I spend in my transition, but I think I'm going to get under 6 hours, or I'm going to be so close to 6 hours. And I was just like, oh my God, if I was calculating as I was running or biking, and as I was running, I was like, okay, I've really got to go. The only thing I don't know is how much my transition time was. But anyway, I got 6 hours and 2 minutes.
Come on. Unbelievable. With that little training as well, that is so good. And was it as good a day as you hoped it to be? Because obviously you fell in love with it in Topor, and then went over to Sydney. And was it really special for you?
It was so good. And also it was like, this sounds a bit weird, but I didn't have anybody there watching me, nobody.
No.
But I know. But because also I didn't want anyone there because I was really nervous that I wasn't. I didn't want
and also you hadn't really been training, so no one actually knew, right? So
nobody knew I was doing this, apart from a couple of friends that were like, what's wrong with you? But yeah, no, I didn't really tell anyone, and I didn't really invite anyone. But so I was just so happy. I made some friends there, and it's just such a great community of people. So you just talk to, make friends with anybody. I feel like in that environment.
Literally, you're just wearing a smile the whole time, aren't you?
Yeah.
And then with that out the way, before that though, in February, you were doing the coast to coast, and I always get this wrong as well when I'm explaining this to people, because I'm really interested in it as well. And I want to come back to why you have this just like innate motivation within yourself to just go and do something. But I think I remember you saying to me the coast to coast was a very similar sort of tactic that you applied to the Ironman as well. You're like, everyone's going for it. I'm here to just do it. I'm here to complete it. So I'm going to take my time. But what, because it's over 2 days, right? So what are the stages and what are the events over those 2 days?
So you can do the 1 day, but that's like for the pros.
No, thank you.
That's super keen people, which I would like. I really want to do the 1 day, one time, but I just need a bit.
You've got to train for it.
Be a little bit faster than that. So basically the stages. So okay. I should remember this because it was like I did the whole thing, but it was 100. Okay, oh my god, 2.2 kilometer run start. 2.2 kilometer run. You run off the beach. You
just 2.2.
So yeah, just a 2.2 kilometer. No. This is it's in stages. So you run, you bike, you run, you kayak, you run, you bike. I'll explain it, but you do biking multiple times, you run multiple times, and you kayak once. So 2.2 kilometer run from the beach to your bike, 55 kilometer bike, then you do a 33 kilometer run, and this is like through rivers, like 20 river crossings, steep gravel,
20.
like like this year it actually, so the run got changed because of the weather. Like we couldn't run up the main river like where you're supposed to do it normally, but still there were river crossings, and you would run on like pebbles and stones, and you're like climbing, and it's just really, really difficult. So 33 kilometer run, then that's the end of day one. Then in the morning you do a 15 kilometer bike, then to your kayak, hop in your kayak, you do 70 kilometer kayak.
70 kilometer kayak? Are you kidding?
Yeah, that's 70 kilometers.
Is that's downstream though, right? You're not going upstream.
Yeah,
okay, okay, thank Christ. That would take like several days.
More than 2 days.
Yeah.
I think I wouldn't ever finish it. Not at that speed anyway. And then you finish with a 70 kilometer bike. So total, I think it was 243 kilometers total. I believe it was if my maths, 140 kilometer bike, 35 kilometer run, and then 70 kilometer kayak total.
I mean, that's a lot. And so is the kayak the first thing you do on the second day, or is that sorry, it's a bit confusing. So you start with just like a 15 kilometer bike, and then you kayak for 70 kilometers. So you just otherwise, that's on
if
day
everyone
2.
was starting in the kayak all at once, like you need to have some
separation
in the groups. Otherwise, so they do 15 kilometer bike, and then 70 kilometer kayak, and then 70 kilometer bike to finish. Yeah, I
mean, that's a lot. That's it's basically adventure racing, but you still have 3 disciplines. So technically, it's a triathlon, but I mean, if you're actually wanting to get real technical with it, there's actually 4 disciplines, because you've got running, then you've got trail running, you've got cycling, and then you've got kayaking as well. So I've heard a little bit about the first day, the trail running stage, and you said that you couldn't do the river that they normally did. Why was that? Was it just super wet, and the river was too fast?
It was actually raining, so we could kayak on it, but we couldn't. So the river that you kayak on was different to the river that you would run and cross, but because when it was raining up in the hills, on the day that we were running, so the river flow and the level was too high for you to be able to cross safely. So they had to make a call that like this is going to be too dangerous, because it's a dangerous hike run anyway, because there's so many river crossings, and people get caught out because they don't understand the pressure of how strong rivers really are, and you get stuck. So anyway, they called off that part of the run, but then we had to run up this, like, I can't remember what it's called, viaduct, And it's just like this steep, like you did these river crossings at the beginning, but then you run up this steep road and it just never ends. You're just running up this steep road, and it was like torrential rain pouring down, and all you could see is just ahead. And it, I think it was like, because I did the run at the practice. I did the practice run a few times before the race. I came down to Christchurch and then I went out and did it. I found running up the road so much harder, because it's just like this road, and when you're doing like the trail run up the river and crossing, and you're climbing boulders, you're using your hands, and you're having to really concentrate, and you've really got to focus and think. But now that we were like running up this road, it was just like, you don't have to concentrate on much, you're just running up this road. It's just like,
so it's just got a little bit boring.
Climbing. Yeah, but
jeez. and so you're how long were you on the move for, like each day? What was the sort of total time? Because give me the day by day time, and then the total time.
Okay.
If you can remember.
Okay. Yeah, no, I actually can't. I think so. My total time. No, I remember how long my kayak was, because I don't know if I told you. Did I tell you about
didn't you lose your paddle or something?
No, I fell out, but I did fall out. But I was trying to, like, in my mind, I was just like, I'll just be so happy to finish this race. Like, this is such an achievement. So many people start the race, and if they have trouble on their kayak, or they injure themselves, like, they don't finish, and like they've trained so long, and it's such a risky race, because there's so many like opportunities for you to really injure yourself, where things can go wrong. And so I was just like, I just want to finish, like, I have to finish this race. So I wasn't super focused on like going as absolutely fast as I can. So when I was going down the river, I fell out twice. I fell out once at the stupid spot that I shouldn't have fallen out of. I followed someone else instead of knowing exactly where I needed to go. I watched her go through, and she was in like a barracuda. It's a much more stable boat than me, and she just like she got through, and I was like, oh, that looked pretty good. I might go that way. I knew I needed to take the inside corner in my boat. Anyway, I followed her. I fell out, and she ditched me. So then, yeah, I know. And then the next time, I don't mind that I fell out at this place, because it was insane. It was called Hamilton Rapids, and it was outrageous how big the waves were, going over the big boulders and stuff under the water. I fell out there, and then I decided, I might just have like a lunch break. So I swam to the side, got out, got my lunch out. I was just sitting there eating my lunch, and the rescue guys kept coming over, like, are you okay? Is everything all right? I was like, yeah, I'm all good. I'm just having some lunch. And they're like, what? I remember them looking at me, and I kept thinking, like, surely other people do this, don't they? Aren't they, like, And turns out I was probably the only one that was so relaxed about my time, because I took so long. I finished really, really, I placed so badly. But I didn't care, because I wasn't racing anyone. I just wanted to finish the adventure.
I love that. I love that. So 18 hours in total. I mean, that's a bloody long time, like over 2 days. I've done multi-day events as well, and you're just on the go the whole time, and you're burning calories the whole time as well, because your environment's consistently changing, but also you're changing sports. And like, also, I didn't know you actually went down proper rapids. It sounds like you need to be in like a whitewater raft. Like, how is that in like a tiny little kayak canoe sort of thing? Like, how do you just feel completely exposed and terrified, or are you like, yippee? No, I was shitting my pants. It was terrifying. It was so bad. No, so because I'd been down for again, like, training runs, and I went down with these groups. Top Sport, they will take you on like a group kayak session, and you've got to get your grade 2 certificate. So they did my training with me. I got my grade 2 certificate,
and then I also went down to do like so you go through the gorge, and you just do that section of it's like 55 kilometres that they take you through.
Yeah, just 55 kilometres. Yeah.
Yeah. Exactly. And they'd taken me through, I think it was twice or 3 times, I can't remember exactly. And every time I'd gone, the river was so high. So the level was so high that when the river level was so high, like it's really, really fast, but there's not many features, because the features are like the big boulders
submerged. Yeah,
exactly. So the times that I went down it, the river was so bloody high that it was almost too high that they weren't able to take us. But because we were so close to the race, they were like, we can't like cancel on these people that have like flown from Australia or like come up from, you know, the North Island, come down. Anyway, what's the question? Wait.
I was just more saying like how on earth do you go through the rapids, and like, so is that not just terrifying? And you said shit my pants.
So
but then you went into the training.
So come race day, the river level was so low that all these new rapids and all these new like boulders and all these new features existed that I'd never seen before. And so it was like totally new. It was really, it was quite scary, you know, because I think because some people are just like, yeah, fuck yeah, let's go, like not really thinking of the consequences. But I'm somebody that always thinks about the consequences. Like I know how dangerous this is, you know.
I'm just trying to I'm trying to figure out your psychology a little bit here. So you're someone that always thinks about the consequences, but you're someone who can undertrain for an Ironman and still nail it, and then you're someone who goes and challenges the consequences that could be, well, let's be honest, life-threatening in coast to coast, where people do die in rapids, and you're like, you know. So when you think about the consequences, do you mean like, you know, what's going through your head? Tell me what was going through your head when you're going down the rapids, and you're like, or are you like, I could break an arm here, and you're that sort of tense? Like, what's the sort of state of mind?
No. So like, it's just I'm very analytical. So like, I understand, you know, like understanding the consequences. Not that I'm like fixated on it, like I'm constantly scared, because I know that like I have to be in a calm state if I'm going to be successful. You know, I know what the consequences are. I'm very aware of how dangerous this is, but I'm going to like be in the absolute best state of like frame of mind to be able to make sure that I am able to do what is necessary to like get through this, you know, and just really focus, like, you know, hyper focus on what I need to do. Like, okay, I've got a corner coming up, and then around this corner I know that I really need to get left. So it's like preparing like at every stage to make sure like I'm not going to be in a position where I'm in danger. Essentially.
I absolutely love that answer, and also because you've done the training because you want to enjoy the race as well. You knew it was going to be a long couple of days on the tools, and you were like, I'm going to put myself in the best possible position so I can just relax and, like you say, have that calm frame of mind. I love that. I think that's really good.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
And then so you've mentioned it a few times, right? So tell me a little bit more about your why as a person. So you said that, you know, in the Ironman you just couldn't not do it, right? You were just I got a bad wrist, couldn't bail out, sod it, I'll get it done. Coast to coast training, you know, you trained a lot better, right, for the coast to coast, because it's a pretty
Wow. I don't know if my coach would say that. I got a coach.
Come on.
Oh no. I got a coach for the last few months. I had a lot of injuries as well before the coast to coast, so my training plan had to be adjusted. But my why, oh god, this is like, it's actually quite big. I don't know if because you wouldn't, well, maybe unless you've stalked me a little bit, you might not know a little bit about me. But my why actually goes back quite a few years, because so it's, I don't know if you have seen, I've had some health problems before, or like current health problems, but anyway, I'll just explain it. So basically, it's a little bit of a controversial topic because it just is. And when 2021, end of 2021, when, you know, during the whole COVID situation and everything that was going on, I got the COVID vaccine and I had a really, really bad reaction to it straight away. And I suffered some really, really serious debilitating health problems for 2.5 years after that. And I was pretty much like medically incapacitated. I was you know, not able to work. I mean, I'm somebody that's like always been in these like really high pressure roles, like super go, like as you maybe can tell now, and just like
Definitely.
now that I'm better, I'm just like, you know, and that's kind of what I always was like. But yeah, I had this really bad reaction. I ended up having these problems with my heart. I had this serious inflammation in my brain. So that was kind of like the immediate symptom that I had, which was this like inflammation and swelling in my brain, and it caused all these sorts of problems, having like numbness on the top of my head, back of my head, like my pinkies, like there were areas of my body where like I would go numb, and I couldn't walk for I couldn't walk far. I couldn't walk for extended periods of time. I couldn't exercise anymore. I couldn't at the worst, like I couldn't work. So there were months where I was off work, and it was just, I say this is controversial because, you know, obviously I mean, I don't know in your experience, but you know, it was a hot topic at the time, and because I was aware of that, and because I did have this reaction, it was really isolating because I couldn't, you know, it was hard to also like to say to people, because people didn't believe it. You know, there was a lot of people that would just dismiss you. And, you know, I knew myself and I knew what happened, and, you know, the doctors knew, and, you know, well, after a while, but, you know, there were some doctors that were quite dismissive, but then, you know, in the end, I think it became a lot more widely accepted because there were more cases of more people, and it was, you know, happening overseas, and it was happening in other places, and that they had more information, where initially they didn't have this information, and they didn't really know what to do. And, you know, people were having these reactions, but they didn't have the resources to be able to help people that did have certain reactions, like the ones that like I was having. Anyway, so that happened, and then I spent pretty much from the moment I got sick for about a year, I got really overweight. You know, I actually I put on probably like 25 kgs because I couldn't do anything. I was super depressed. I was a completely different person. You know, I'd lost kind of like everything. I lost like the ability to even, you know, hang out with friends. Like I couldn't go out and do all the things that I used to do, like with my partner at the time. You know, we used to go camping, and we used to go like diving, and we used to go fishing, and like we'd always go out, you know, away every weekend, and we were renovating the house, and we were doing all these things. And then all of a sudden I couldn't do it anymore. Like I couldn't do anything. I couldn't go out and experience like all these simple pleasures that we used to enjoy because I was pretty much like disabled. Anyway, so
God.
inflammation
So
of the brain.
difficult.
Yeah, it really was. But yeah, so those inflammation of the brain, I had all these problems with my heart. Like my heart would start beating like 170 beats a minute when I was just lying in my bed. You know, just
170 beats a minute just lying in bed.
Yeah.
So what actually happened? Sorry to interrupt, but like the injection went in, and then did it attack like your neurological system? Was it like
I got diagnosed
happened?
by my neurologist finally got my diagnosis 2 years after I got sick. So I'd been seeing him, but, you know, we were in the discovery phase. But I worked with a lot of people. So what people suspect happened is just like, it kind of just like something like a event that just tipped my body over the edge of being able to like, what's the word?
Control motor systems and just like ordinary functions.
Yeah. So like I
Yeah.
had this, I don't know if you've heard of dysautonomia, or like people that have issues with like their blood pressure and their heart rate. So they might stand up and then all the blood will rush, down, and they'll faint, and, then their heart will beat really fast. It's called like POTS. But this is a form of like dysautonomia. So dysregulation with the autonomic nervous system. So everything that controls your blood pressure, your heart rate, those sorts of things. So mine wasn't working anymore. And sometimes people have these events like, like a vaccine, or they have an illness, or they get sick, and it's just like something that triggers something in your body where it just flips a switch and your body doesn't really know how to regulate itself anymore, doesn't really know what to do. And I think I had the injection, and I had an immediate reaction. I had like a type of like, I don't want to say seizure, but I went into shock, and my body I was just shaking. Like I was shaking. I was completely white, cold. I was like having a fit for about 20 minutes.
Oh my God.
And yeah, and I think there was kind of like that, like my body having this reaction to this foreign thing that was now in my body. And I think just even like the immune system having like a overreaction to this vaccine, or like, people have it with anything, other things, illnesses. You can have this overreaction, and you end up with these like chronic illnesses where your body might be fighting itself, or you have these just I think that's a me way of explaining it, but the people that I've been working with might be able to explain it a little bit better. But just
well, I just want to say thank God you're feeling better now.
Yes.
It's so good to hear that you've made that recovery, because that is a dark time, and depression is a serious thing. It's not a topic I take lightly at all, because but it can also be an amazing motivator. And this is a very, very traumatic experience that you went through, and now you're using that in a really positive way, physically. But how about sort of mentally as well? Because has that built some serious resilience, do you think? And is that what sort of fuels you? Like, I'm better now, I can take on anything, sort of what's the sort of mentality behind that?
Yeah, I think because that happened, and then I spent all this time over those years fighting to get my life back, because basically the neurologist said to me, look, these conditions, they're chronic and lifelong. There's not a lot that we can do. And the people that get diagnosed with these, dysautonomia, inflammation of the brain, these sorts of things, they typically have them for the rest of their lives, and you just have to self-manage. And that was kind of the switch. Like this was 2 years after I got sick, and he said to me, this is chronic and lifelong. And I was like, there's no fucking way I'm living like this. Like, not a chance.
I refuse.
No way. And it was like the motivator. It was like, you're gonna have you're gonna have this for the rest of your life. And I was like, watch me. Like, there's not a chance I can live like this. I actually couldn't live like this, like there were times where I was like, I was so scared that I actually could die, because I was so sick. And that's really like, that was my fuel. That was just like okay, well, I'm going to do absolutely everything in my power. I'm going to make sure that I'm eating like all of the right foods. I'm giving my body everything that it needs to be well. This is about the sugar thing, like not eating any sugar. I'm not going to give my body. Yeah. So I'm not going to give my body any reason to be unwell. So I'm going to fuel it properly. I'm going to spend all this time like outside, grounding, meditating, doing breath work. Like, I learned so many things through the darkest period of my life, and so many tools, So with the race, this was kind of like this, I'm going to prove that it's actually possible, against all odds, against, these diagnoses that people, or kind of like this like life sentence that people get given sometimes, or prognosis that people get given, and they think that that's the end, like that's my life, this is my life, and they accept that. And I was like, I want to show that it is possible to recover from a serious illness like this. And that was kind of why I did the coast to coast. Actually a year prior to me doing the coast to coast, I set a challenge to myself for 1 year, for 365 days, to meditate, do breath work, do exercise, drink 3 liters of water, no sugar, no alcohol, like grounding every day, seeing the sun every morning. Like I did that every single day for a year. There were some days that I did miss it, but like I tried to do that every single day for a year. And then I got to the end of the year and I was like, okay, well, I did that for a year and I've had no problems. I'm in the best shape of my life. I'm in the best health. Now what's something where I can really say, like, I'm absolutely well. Like, I'm so well. And then I'd been doing fasting as well. I don't know if you've heard of fasting, like water fast.
Yeah.
And I'd met a guy on the group, Steve Gurney. And he is like a coast to coast, like, champion. And I remember him talking about, doing the coast to coast, and I thought, I'm going to do the coast to coast. This is going to be like what represents, all of the like success of my health. And then I'm going to go back to the neurologist and I'm going to show him my medal. Like, here you go.
What do you think about this, fuckface?
Yeah, chronic and lifelong. I don't think so.
Eat your heart out. Unbelievable. What? No, that was. Thank you for sharing. First off, because that's quite the story, and I'm sure everyone will agree with me with that, and super inspiring as well, because there are lots of people out there that do get illnesses. There are lots of people that turn it around. There are some that don't, but then there are some that sort of do accept that as well. And you're one of the rare few people that has that fuck you moment, for lack of better phrasing, like, thank you for the information, but I'm actually going to not accept that. And that's like your stubbornness to not accept crap news. And I love that. And that might be a poor way of putting it, but you know what I'm trying to say. So I think that was really, really special. So now it's like, okay, beyond the finish line, we've done the coast to coast, you've done the Half Ironman. What is next for you? It must be something. I don't believe there isn't.
No. So I mean, okay, I'm doing the coast to coast again next year. And
you're doing it again?
Yeah, of course. Like, come on.
Of course, yeah. Sorry, how could I be so stupid to not assume that you're doing it again?
No, well, I figured because I didn't get to do the real run, so I've really got to do it again. No, so I'm doing the coast to coast. I've signed up to do a full Ironman, the Taupo one, a month after that. Yes.
Oh, wait, what? So you're going to do the coast to coast, and then quite literally a month later, where everyone's saying you need about a month to recover from a full Ironman, you're going to do an Ironman. Yeah, I'm gonna have to get you back on the pod after that, because that's gonna be one hell of a story. Okay, so so round 2 on coast to coast, and then you're gonna upgrade to a full Ironman.
Yeah, pretty much. But I don't know if I would say that the sorry Ironmans out there. I don't know if I'd say the Ironman is an upgrade to the coast to coast. I would say the coast to coast is an upgrade to the Ironman.
Really?
Yes. Do you like?
Sorry, no, I completely agree. I meant upgrade from the Half Ironman to the full Ironman. The coast to coast is a completely different. Yeah, no, we're definitely talking the same.
Oh yeah, definitely. No,
coast to coast is in a whole other league.
No, I mean very similar, but just different challenges. So pretty much those are the things that I'm doing next. But honestly, it's like a big question, because I got to the end of. I did the coast to coast, and then I was kind of like, okay, so what now? Like, I got, like, what do I do now? You kind of go into this like period where you're just like, what are you? I know what my whys were. Like I know what my whys were. I just had this like I needed to prove to myself and in a way to other people that like what was possible. But then, okay, I've proved it. So so what what now, you know?
Keep going.
Yeah, just gonna do it again.
Yeah, I honestly, I love that. And what you're probably experiencing, which I actually spoke about in the previous podcast with John, is there's a bit of event fatigue. So like after your event, you know, after the coast to coast, after the Ironman, because you build, right, for such an event, have that amazing event, great experience, unforgettable memories, and then you sort of sit and you're like, what am I going to do now? Because I've had this thing that's been taking up like most of my life, and now I don't have it. And sometimes you get like event sort of depression, because like afterwards you're like, that was such a high, and now I'm like, okay, and then you need to focus on something else, so you just keep chasing, and that's not a bad thing, because look, it's obviously turning you into an unbelievable athlete, so congratulations.
Well, I do think that, you know, it does take you into that kind of place where it made me think, okay, like I think I need to like really evaluate, like, what are my priorities now, you know, like what, you know, and I said to you, I think earlier before we recorded, but, you know, what am I doing in Hamilton? Like, you know, is this a career that I want to have? You know, I'm kind of at that stage where it's like, you know, I want to build a family. I want to, like, you know, there's other priorities and things that, like, you know, my health was my priority for so many years, and it is, and it still is, and I'll always have that, and it always will be. And, you know, these races, like, oh, I can always do that. I'll always do that. But it did make me have this kind of like bit of reflection where I was like, what is like actually really important to me right now at this stage of my life? And I think that's kind of been, I need to make some changes to create the future that I want, that I really want. And, you know, the races will always be there, but, you know, building a life with somebody or having a family, like that sort of stuff is probably, you know, in my career, you know, I mean, they're all kind of like, okay, well, what do I want to do now? So that's kind of where I'm at in the stage of evaluating, you know, what changes do I need to make to create the life I want. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, to create the life that you want. I love that, and you know, it motivation comes from movement. You know, I've always said that, and obviously loads of other people say it. I can't coin that phrase, but I truly believe in that. You know, you got the motivation because you're focused on your health. I mean, not eating sugar, not drinking, like those are massive ones. They're really hard to avoid, and can be like kind of socially isolating. But when you do
completely.
that, but when you do that, the difference, the difference in your physique, in your mentality, in your emotions, you know, everything comes down and balances out so much more stable. So we know all of this is really good for us, but, you know, it's really hard to do. But you've done it for, you know, over a year. So honestly, kudos. More than.
Drinking,
of course.
Drinking's been 2.5 years, and then sugar's been 3.5 years, actually.
Unbelievable. That is ridiculous statistic. But look, we're coming up on time now. So I do have a bit of a closing tradition on the podcast, which I probably should have pre-warned you about, so sorry if I'm putting you on the spot a little bit, but do take your time to think about it. I ask people, if we focus on the coast to coast, because I feel like that was really your swan song, right? That was you saying, I'm out of this illness, I'm going to conquer something massive, and I'm going to do it all by myself. And so for that event, what would be an adequate soundtrack? So let's say, like, you know, one that really sort of captures the event, what it meant to you. What would that song be, and why?
Oh God, I'm such like a I love, this sounds so silly, but I love sad songs, but I don't think a sad song is like an appropriate, I wouldn't say that's like an appropriate coast to coast song.
Well, hey, look, it's not for anyone else. This is your song, you know, like what gets you going? Like, you know, when you're kayaking, are you going like, just keep paddling, sort of like, what are you singing?
I definitely was talking to myself, that's for sure. I was like, come on, bro, you got it. I actually was saying that. You can do it, don't worry, you can do hard things. No. Okay, you know that song? Oh my God. I don't actually know.
You're going to have to sing it.
Yeah. So, so, you know, the song is like, Mount Everest ain't got shit on me, because I'm on. Do you know that song? Tell me you know that song.
I actually don't. Well, let's have a look.
It's like, Mount Everest ain't got shit on me because I'm on top of the world. I'm on top of the world.
I'm Googling it as we speak.
I can't believe you've never heard the song if you haven't heard the
I
song.
probably
Or maybe
have,
I'm
but I
just singing
can't
it
think of the
really
name.
badly.
Maybe. Are you
It's
sure they're the
called
right lyrics?
Mount Everest.
It's
Yeah.
called Mount Everest by Labyrinth.
Yeah, that's the one.
Yeah?
That's the song.
Okay, I'm going
Yeah,
to have to
it's
go and
kind of
listen to
like-
that because I can't actually like picture it.
Oh God. Yeah. Well, no. It's pretty much like, well, Mount Everest ain't got nothing on me. Like I'm on top of the world. That's literally the lyrics, and I think that's a little bit fitting for Coast to Coast because, yeah, you kind of got to have that mindset to get
Yeah,
through
100%.
it. To get through. Yeah.
That's how you beat something that big, right? You make it small, you break it down, take it into bite-sized chunks. Like, you probably didn't look at the coast to coast and go, okay, here, I'm at the start line, I've got to get to the finish line, like, let's go. You know, you're probably like, okay, I've got to get this run out of the way first, and then I'm going to hop on the bike and I'm just going to like pedal it out and I'm going to enjoy that bike, and then I'm going to jump on the 33k trail run, and then I'm going to, you know, chill for the day. You know, you think of it like that. You're not going, you know, thinking about the whole thing and going, shit, I need to hurry up. You know, otherwise it doesn't make it enjoyable.
Exactly. Enjoy the stages.
Well, look, absolutely. Well, look, that was honestly one of the best pods I've recorded. Sorry to everyone else out there, but that was an extremely inspiring story, and I know it's really late for you as well. So I really appreciate you jumping on and
really
spending
funny.
the time
it's
with
only
us.
8 p.m., but yes.
Oh, well, you know, I'd be shutting down, so I'm an early to bed sort of person. But for people that are out there that don't know you but want to follow your story and just want to follow you and support you, where do they find you? Where do they go to see you?
What's my Instagram name? I can't remember if it's Briar Ruby or if it's Briar Whaitiri. I think it's
Briar Whaitiri.
Briar Whaitiri.
I love how I know that.
Yeah. Whaitiri. Hard to say, hard to spell.
Hard to spell. Okay, love that. Well, look, again, thank you. And if anyone is listening to this podcast, needs coaching for something like an Ironman coast to coast, please do hit me up. But for today, that will be us. Thank you for listening.